Well, good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic. I'm your host, Neil Johnson. Excited to be with you. Remember to check the description and subscribe to the links down below, my backups and everything else. But hey, folks, this is a smashing big report. Now, this is going to take probably 5 minutes, but you stick with me through this because the numbers are awesome, okay? Okay, I'm going to go through a series of numbers and I'm going to add a little bit of commentary from my own experiences. So please just stick with this one because it's going to give you some hope, okay? The majority of voters want Antifa and BLM investigated more than January 6th. Now, this is out of a Rasmussen poll. I am going to leave a link in the description where you can get some of this. But since the moment Democrats took power in January of this year, they have painted what happened at the Capitol as this major bad insurrection, right? I mean, there were no guns. There was no, well, there was with of course, the Capitol Police who then shot an unarmed lady. That's a different thing. They have painted Trump supporters and other conservatives as terrorists. Yes, I mean, they say, oh, yeah, they're terrorists, okay? And if you ever go on Twitter, you'll just go like, oh, this is disgusting. So then you'll stay off because it's just a bunch of ridiculous. The FBI has spent countless hours and resources rounding up people who were involved. Nancy Pelosi is even forming a new commission on Congress to further investigate. Now, quick sidebar there. Kevin McCarthy has said that if Nancy is unwilling to seat the 5 people that he recommended, one of which is Jim Jordan, she has refused 2 of them as Jim Jordan and somebody else, he won't. So apparently McCarthy's growing a backbone. I think that's all theater. I haven't seen much out of McCarthy to really give me a lot of hope in him. Despite all of this, a majority of voters would prefer an investigation of the Antifa and BLM rioters who destroyed American cities for months in 2020. Okay? As House leaders engage in the standoff over Pelosi's Jan 6 panel, a poll found that likely voters are more supportive of investigating the social injustice demonstrations that roiled the nations last summer. A super majority of likely voters, 66%, want the BLM and Antifa protests investigated, while a majority do not support Pelosi's inquiry into the insurrection, okay, in Rasmussen. Just 49% support Pelosi's House Jan 6 panel, and majorities of blacks and Hispanics back an investigation into the protests that followed the murder of George Floyd by a police officer. Now, think about this. 67% of whites, but 64% of black, 66% of Hispanics, and 62% of other minorities think Congress should investigate the 2020 riots in U.S. cities. Rasmussen Reports wrote an analysis of the poll. 75% of Republicans, 60% of Democrats, and 63% of voters not affiliated with either major party should investigate. That's what they're finding now. There's some other interesting findings I'll get into, but I want you to think about this. Why is that? Why is it that blacks, Hispanics, we've been taught this narrative, right? I mean, the mainstream media, CNN, MSNBC, all of them, right? They're just constantly spewing down your throats that, these people in Jan 6 were so bad, but these other people were just so, and it was mostly peaceful while buildings are burning in the background. You get it, right? So why is it that their narrative isn't working? Well, folks, on the ground, and I lived in the inner city, the reality is that there's a lot of people there who rely on walking to the store, okay? There's a lot of, they have to have their stuff close, or they take the bus there. But they're within close proximity to the store. Many of them don't have vehicles. They're not as mobile and so on. They live in apartment buildings and whatnot. So they do not have that mobility. So for them to have the grocery store burned and looted, for them to have the convenience stores looted and so on, and the buildings torched, it does not work for them, okay? So of course they're going to be upset. In fact, it gets better. 53% think Congress should award medals to the law enforcement agencies that defended their cities. 62% believe elected officials who downplayed the 2020 rioting and looting deserve to be criticized, a number higher than the 51% who believe politicians deserve criticism for downplaying what happened at the Capitol. 76% of voters believe young people should be taught to comply with police rather than resist and flee arrest. Look, folks, the fact is the left is way out of step with the majority of people in America. And yet you're getting demoralized, many of you, because you believe, oh, this is just the way it is, and people are against us, and it's a takeover. No, we the people have the power, folks. Go watch Dave Jose, learn some of your state constitution, and look at what's going on. Go up to my locals channel and see the video I just posted. It's phenomenal. One of Dave's students who gets up in Pennsylvania and does amazing things. So folks, don't give up. I know it seems easy, okay? I'll post a link below to all this, and do remember to subscribe to the other links there too. All right, I love y'all. Peace out.